a small space by moving her hands, but the cracks start filling up with snow and the light disappears. Now it's getting hard to breathe. She can't get enough air. Her lungs start to burn. Which way is up? Which way is down? She thinks. How deep am I? How many minutes do I have left? Was this how it was supposed to end? Then everything goes dark. December 1st. Ingrid Berg sits up abruptly. It's the same dream as always, the one that comes to her again and again. The rumbling, the white dragon, the snow on all sides, the shouting, the others disappearing, the darkness, the lack of oxygen, the panic, the pain. In reality, that had come later, after they'd dug her out and she woke up in the hospital. She doesn't remember much from those first hours and days, but the bright lights, the people in white bustling around her, the pain, and the blood, so much blood. She'll never forget that. She gets control of her breathing. She isn't there now, not under the snow, not at the hospital. She's in her bed at the Glitter Peak Lodge. She's surrounded by darkness, and she's alone. Ingrid was a climber from an early age, first on the rocks near the hotel where she grew up, then in the mountains. There was something inside her that drove her forward, ever steeper and ever higher. People were surprised that her grandmother, Nana Borghild, allowed it, especially after what happened to her parents. But her grandmother had always been perfectly at ease. Ingrid was born to climb, she would say calmly. Not letting her climb would be like not letting a mountain hawk fly. The people of Glitter Peak had always been climbers. Both Nana Borghild and Ingrid's mother, Angelina, had been up in the mountains since they were old enough to walk, even though it was somewhat unusual for women in those days. So the last thing Nana Borghild wanted was to keep Ingrid from pursuing her passion. Of course, she made sure that Ingrid went to climbing courses, learned how to belay and rappel, wore a helmet, found responsible climbing partners, and did whatever else it took to make climbing as safe as possible. Nana Borghild trusted Ingrid. Ingrid had always trusted herself, too. She felt confident in her abilities. She understood the mountain. Her fingers instinctively knew where to hold, and she always knew where to place her feet. Over time, climbing became her whole life. She explored the world, sought out new challenges, and always felt safe, invincible even. But then, last year, her life had changed in a matter of minutes up there in the Himalayas. The images surged through her like the avalanche they'd barely survived. Prabin's failure, the fatal consequences. She'd never get over it, and every time she thought about what happened, it felt as if she was once again trapped beneath feet of snow, gasping for air. She let the hot water flow over her head and body as she sang along to the song streaming from the radio, "All I Want for Christmas Is You." It was almost as though she'd forgotten that she couldn't carry a tune. It was the first Sunday in December, and Christmas songs had already been playing for weeks. Shampoo, rinse. What a luxury it was to be able to take a hot shower every day. To let last night's nightmares run down the drain. Ingrid had been on enough expeditions to be able to really appreciate the comforts of indoor life. Clean, dry towels, hot water, scented soap. She squeezed a generous amount of conditioner into her hands and ran them through her long, curly hair to try to get some control over the tangles. Turning off the water, she reached for a towel.